Recording. It's like, hi, this is a recording. And
You ain't say that you had beef with blue cheese?
Okay, welcome back to Beef with Blue Cheese. I've realized I keep saying with the episode number, and it doesn't matter at all what episode number it is. So this is the, this is a good one for me. I like this. I like this episode. I'm excited about this. This is the Last Emperor, The Legend of Bigfoot album,
That really wasn't an
which never officially came out.
Nope.
This album got lost to I don't know, bigger things happening at the time. So yeah, this is I'm excited to do this, and I feel like I want to promote this episode more than any episode I've ever promoted, and like actually push this because I want people to know about this album.
Yeah.
And if this podcast is a way for people to learn about this album, I would be happy to do that.
It'd be great if people could get the album. I think that's a big issue.
Well, it is on YouTube.
Okay.
Not the same way that we're going to review it now
Yeah.
because there was never an official track listing. It was never an official, actually order of, album cover. So here's the story. So Last Emperor, for anybody who doesn't know, Last Emperor was an underground rapper in 2000, grew up in Philly, went to the same high school that Fresh Prince went to, I read today.
Yeah, Will Smith
And,
I knew we went to Overbrook High School. I knew Will Smith went there, and Wilt Chamberlain. When I lived there, I knew.
Oh, yeah?
When I lived there, I knew some kid who went there, and he used to tell me that story all the time. How Will Smith used to go there, and every once in a while he'd come back, and Wilt Chamberlain went there, and who else?
Yeah,
went
they
there?
said
I forget who. I think.
there's a couple other rappers
Yeah, a
because they
couple
said
other
they
rappers.
called it Philly's Hip Hop High.
Okay.
That was what they called it. So.
Okay.
And then he moved to New York, which I didn't know. I thought he just he was always in Philly. And then he was in Lyricist Lounge, and he was like one of the bigger names in the underground rap scene. And this way I always heard the story was that Dr. Dre wanted to sign new acts to his new record label that he had, and he just told people, find me the two biggest or best guys in the underground right now, and I'm going to sign them. So they got him a tape of Last Emperor, and they got a tape of Eminem, I think, the same time.
Yeah.
And he was, I guess, working on their albums side by side, and I think they just saw that Eminem just took off immediately, and I guess his project came out first, and Last Emperor was just like, Dr. Dre's like, we got all we can
Yeah, we got all we can
manage with
handle
Eminem
yeah.
right now. We don't need any more work, and that was it. And they just I guess they.
You think
Yeah.
any of it had to do with the fact that he's a clean rapper and it really didn't fit the image of kind of what they were doing?
Maybe after Eminem
Yeah.
came out, yeah, but I mean, he knew he was a clean rapper. I mean,
Yeah, I see. I don't know much of the backstory other than he was signed to, is it Interscope or Aftermath? Yeah,
Aftermath, yeah,
And
because he makes about two or three references on the album or on these songs to Aftermath, Dr. Dre, and he says Dr. Andre Young at one point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's. I mean, that might have been part of it that they saw like, okay, Eminem is huge right now, and he's the opposite of what Last Emperor is doing. He's not clean. He's not rapping about, positivity. So they thought, what are the chances that we're going to put out this guy when obviously that's not what people want right now? Because,
yeah, you certainly couldn't have them
Eminem
go on
was just
tour
so-
together. It's not like they're going to be like part of the same show.
no.
Very different group of people.
Yeah. And it's just for fun. Eminem was just so big at the time. Like,
Yeah.
he just changed, the direction of, and it's like a turning point in the country, the world to me. It's like, all right, here you have, nobody ever got to really hear Last Emperor to make the decision what they wanted, but you're presented with these two options. You got this, Eminem, who everybody knows what he does.
Yeah.
Then you have Last Emperor, who maybe don't know, or if you do, it was positivity, there's a whole different style of rap.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
like
highly
kind
intelligent,
of paints the
very
picture
insightful.
of like this is, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, this is who we are as a people. We're a people who like violence and sex and drugs, and we don't want this. So it's like it's like a magnifying glass on the culture at the time and what's valuable, and it is
What's
like
odd,
even movies, violent movies, or what's popular. It's God.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was gonna say, what's odd though is that when he did sign with Rawkus, is that it still never came out. So he had all these songs, and I mean, he's had albums come out after this, and this is still by far his best album, even if it really isn't an album, just like a compilation of all of his like demos or whatever it was.
Yeah, what he was working on.
And it's
I think
and
that's
it
what
never
they called
got put
it
out
as-
on
was a
Rawkus when Rawkus
compilation
was
of
like
demos,
just. Yeah, like Rawkus was like blowing up. You had the Lyricist Lounge. You had both those albums, and then it never came out, which was so odd, especially with like Most Def and
it's
Kweli coming out at that time. It's strange that this wasn't kind of like tagged along with that.
I don't know if were those songs tied up to Aftermath, and he couldn't just release these songs. Like once you sign a record company with a record company and you start recording into those things, they probably bought the rights to those songs, and that was you can't just take the songs you're working on with one record company and bring it to another record company. They it would be the decent thing to do, obviously, to be like, listen, sorry it didn't work out, and take your songs, good luck. That would be
I
the
mean,
nice thing
it's
to
not
do.
like it's not like he's the Beatles. You would think you'd be like, okay, so here's your catalog, you can go elsewhere with it.
Right.
We obviously don't want
go
it.
do your best to sell it elsewhere. And what was it? It said it said like the reason why it just said things got tied up at Rawkus, and it just never managed to come out. So
there's really no explanation.
unfortunate.
There's no like quotes from anybody. There's nothing from the two guys at Rawkus. There's nothing about it at
Like the
all.
only reason I say why it might have gotten tied up with like legal stuff is because even his first official album, he didn't put these songs weren't that like, so he what I mean, like, so some way that like he must not have access to these songs.
Yeah, he owns a couple
Although
of them because go ahead.
Yeah, I think go ahead. You think?
No, I was going to say I think he owns a couple of them because Secret Wars was on another album. It was on his like quote like technical first album.
Album.
And then didn't they change? Did they change the beat?
I think 3. They changed the beat, and then it was also Animalistic, and I think Meditation
was
were
on
also
there.
on his first.
Yeah, Meditation was on there.
Album, but I think all different beats. Maybe one of them is the same beat, but that also we're going by. I downloaded these songs from it was probably Napster at the time, or maybe LimeWire or something illegal.
Yeah.
And I just acquired. I just looked up Last Emperor and just downloaded song by song, which I could find. So, who knows at what point he had recorded this song, and if it was supposed to be on the album. Like he might have recorded Meditation after the Aftermath thing already happened.
Yeah.
And I just downloaded it and put it on this album, and it was never meant to be on this album. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I cross-referenced the YouTube version of it, and there obviously the track listing is completely different, and there's a lot of the songs that aren't. So there's like three songs that aren't on my version of it, and I think there's other songs that are on my version that aren't on that version of it. So
I like this version.
it's all a very loose.
Your version's pretty good, and I think it's it's just somehow well put together the way that it's laid out too.
Yeah, and I think there's. I know that there was one song that isn't on this album that I purposely left out because I didn't like it that much, and I was like, I had the power of like I'm like the artist,
final cut.
You're
Executive producer.
Yeah, so there was one of them I liked a lot, and then I think I might have found it after I had already like. So the next part of the story is since nobody could find it, and I had access to an underground hip hop store in our town, which was ridiculous that even existed.
And he actually, it's funny,
an hour and a half outside of
on one of the songs, he says the cop shop on one of the songs.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
What is it?
I forget exactly which one it is. Probably should have done some pre-production for this, but
I don't know if it might have been coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
it was purely.
It was around the same time. Like this was all happening around the same time. The cop shop was definitely in existence. So I made copies of this. Like I made legit etched CDs of it, on what turned out to be like shitty CDRs because they started skipping at some point.
Yeah.
I think I printed labels. I made an album cover, and I sold them out of the cop shop. And I must have sold 50 copies of them out of this. Like, and every time I would drop them off, it's like, you got to bring more of these. Like everybody wants these. They go on, they sell out immediately. And I would try it. It was just like a lot of work. And I started feeling bad. I'm like, I'm making money from this guy's work. And then years later, when he was releasing his first actual album, he went into the cop shop for a performance in a record in a signing. He was re-signing things, and kids were showing up with the bootleg version of Legend of Bigfoot. Like they thought it was his. Like it was obviously a bootleg. It was printed on a piece of paper, and like had like a CD, like a printed label on it. It skipped in one part. Like even my version skips. Like one of the songs just skips all towards the end.
At the end of Heaven, it starts to skip.
Yeah, at the end of Heaven.
And
which I found
song.
a clean version on YouTube recently, and I've downloaded that, and like I've updated my version of it, so now I have a version of Heaven that doesn't skip. Although I don't think I imported it into iTunes yet. So so I made a ton of money. I feel bad, like he's signing these like bootleg copies, and
he's like,
Eddie's like, I was I was So I actually. And knowing that we were going to do this episode, I found him on Twitter. At least I think I did.
Okay.
It's hard to tell. He's not verified, but he had like 700 something followers, and it had like he's promoting Last Emperor work, and so I found him. I wrote him on Twitter. I asked him if he had Venmo, and I wanted to send him money. I just said, "Can I send you money for? Do you have Venmo so I can send you money for this album I've been listening to all these years that was never released?" And then my intention was to send him like a few $100 because like if I can verify that it's him, I'll send him $400, because it's just like that's his money.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he never became, this big popular thing. And I've always had a guilty conscience about making money off of this guy's work that just never, for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean,
so I would gladly do that.
And he just came out with another new album, I guess a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. So he's still making music, and it's not bad. I mean, I listened to it. It's actually quite good. Some songs are
lyrically, it's
decent.
great. Like, he teamed up. Seems like he teamed up with one producer.
Yeah.
And the guy makes like it sounds like 90s.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's stuck in the 90s, which I like. It's you wonder. I listen to his music now, and I'm like, all right, how much different would this be if he like hit in the early 2000s? Like, it wouldn't sound the same because he'd have a whole team behind them. It would be like a lot cleaner. It would be a lot, like it sounds like underground rap music still.
Yeah.
And which, obviously I like, but he's doing a lot of the same stuff. He has like songs with themes to it and like characters. Like he's still doing that thing. So he's very much still Last Emperor.
He sure is. Yeah. I mean, and it's so. I always found him interesting because all of his songs like had a meaning. Like there were no like garbage throwaway tracks. They were all like about a specific topic, and he was really into comic books. He was really into like animals, I guess. I mean, he's not speaking figuratively. Like there's some type of,
it seems
like
like
he's like a soulful person. Like there's the connection between animals and humans, and kind of like, and he talks about like God and like he is Noah, like letting the two animals onto the ark at some point in one of the tracks.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, he's a really, really deep guy, and to be like 100% clean
and fun,
at
like
the time,
creative. Yeah. I think there's one curse word on this quote unquote album.
Okay.
And I think it was like early in his recording. I think like it seems like almost like he made the decision to go in a clean direction. Which, and there's definitely points in the album where like he says a word like that would have been a curse word for anybody else. Yeah. Like he chooses to use a word that wasn't a curse word. Legend of Bigfoot. Yeah. So hopefully I'll hear back. So I heard back from I got a message like a minute later. It said no Venmo, but I do have a PayPal. You can hit me up here. But I clicked on it, and I'm like, it had the same picture. Like, the first tweet was the same. And I clicked on it, but it says, like, 3 followers, following 7 people. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I click on the difference of it. So his like Twitter handle is Last Emperor, and then O, and then a 13. And then I clicked on the link that the guy wrote me back, and it was instead of a 0, it was an O.
Okay.
And I was like, it's exactly the same. If you looked at it, it's like if you click, like, so I toggle back and forth, and you could see like the only difference was like the O and the 0, like one got thinner and one got like fatter as you click back and forth. It's like, what a piece of garbage this guy is. Like, he makes first of all, he makes a Last Emperor, like fake Last Emperor account. Like, how deep is that? First of all, and then like you track, like you obviously set your account to alerts.
Yeah.
So that anytime something happens with Last Emperor, you're alerted. So then he instantly wrote me back and tried to get me to send him money on PayPal. And I don't know, like,
When did it say?
I don't know, maybe he has two, like, maybe he has two accounts. Like, I don't know, but I'm not about to send this guy money. He's got 7 followers or 3 followers, whatever it is.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like if he's just like some type of hacker who can set up like something within, like he can hack into certain accounts, and anytime like the word PayPal or Venmo comes up, he'll get like an alert.
Yeah, that's very possible. Creates an account,
and then
like one letter off, and it just immediately,
and then like immediately creates it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not smart enough to do any of that, but I have no clue.
No, and what's funny is when I first clicked on it, I didn't notice, and I saw in the bio there was a link to Venmo. I'm like, oh, his Venmo's right here. Like I didn't even notice. And like I clicked on it and not like this thing open, and then I was like, this is weird. And then I went back to it and I clicked on his bio again, and the Venmo link was gone. So it's almost like he tried to set up a Venmo, couldn't, and he was like, let me just throw the pen pal in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really, I was like, man, oh man, like people are just.
I wonder
if people put as much work into stealing money on the line as they did just going to work,
like actually creating something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable. So I don't know how I'm going to verify that it's Last Emperor.
Yeah, he's obviously out there.
If I can,
you probably can go to his website. There's probably like a contact us at his website.
I clicked on his website.
Nothing.
No website active. His Instagram page, like he was doing like a podcast, so like he was like a guest on a podcast, and that seemed legit because it was like actual video, like behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he hasn't posted in there in over a year. So
what about the producer that he hooks up with, like the producer that like does all of his tracks? I wonder if he's got something.
Yeah, actually, he tweeted because the Last Emperor shared one of his tweets, but like neither one of them were verified.
Yeah.
The best bet, like I tried writing Eddie Edder to have him come on the podcast, and I haven't heard back from him. Yeah. But he would be my best angle to verify Last Emperor's actual identity.
Yeah, you could write the guy back. Okay, so like, what high school did you go to? Or just something silly like that.
Yeah. Well, if I find that out, then he could certainly take a moment to find it out. Yeah. I thought about it too. Like, what can I ask him that I was, like, what were you signing at the cop shop that was weird?
Yeah. Hey, do you remember going to a specific record store where there was a bunch of 19-year-old white kids only asking you to sign bootleg CDs?
Yeah. So I have a Philadelphia Phillies hat signed by Last Emperor, which is a prized possession of mine.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sluggo hat signed by Slug, and a Phillies hat signed by Last Emperor, and those are like the only 2 signed items I have that I would cherish.
You got to get a Kirby hat signed by Aesop now.
Yeah, I have a record I think signed by Aesop, but I think it was like I just bought it. I don't think I got it signed by him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was like he was selling like autographed versions of something. Yeah, so that's the backstory of Last Emperor and the Legend of Bigfoot, and this is my version of this album, of the demos. Want to start it up?
Yeah, let's roll.
Start out with a song I think was called Caravan. Also, like none of these
names.
Yeah,
there could be something completely different.
It could be something different, like the YouTube, like that has the names of the songs. That some of the names are not the same, like that, just a shot in the dark. Yeah. Right.
I wish every boy and girl would go out and explore their world. Every woman, every man, join my caravan. Hey yo, pause for the cause and cancel your travel plans. Join the Black Magic Man on his desert caravan, where the cool ocean water meets the hot desert sands. And if the sun don't burn, you might return with the tan. I'll be your tour guide. Make sure you enjoy your ride. Build a campfire and make sure it burns all night. You want it smooth or tougher than rawhide? While you celebrate, I'll swashbuckle and sword fight.
All right, so you get the idea of, it's very definitely, that's how he sounds and that's how he raps, and it's how he raps throughout the whole thing. It's, um, yeah, he's he's got a great sound to me. I always loved his voice. It's very smooth. He you can understand everything he says. There's no, there's not like there's like almost no effect to his voice at all. Definitely doesn't sound like somebody from Philly. Although
No,
no matter where you are, the accents don't apply to black people the way they do to white people. Like,
I was just going to say that. I was like, it's because he's black. He doesn't have the Philly accent. If he was a white guy from Philly, it's the worst possible accent.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't like the Brooklyn accent or Long Island accent, but goddamn, that Philly accent or like the South Jersey accent is by far. It's like, I mean, I could never like date a girl from that area because the voice is just so terrible.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
It's not great.
Yeah.
I actually just looked it up. I can't remember why I looked it up, but I was just googling like the Philly accent, and it was like it literally said like there's a like you could do a study on like linguistics or accents based on, like on Philly accent is like the perfect accent to do a study on because of how unique it is and how specific to that area it is, and it's like. You go down and get a water. Go down and get a water.
Get a water. Hey, can you get a bagel?
Get a hoagie.
Bagel.
Oh, get a bagel. Get a
bagel
hoagie.
And a hoagie. Get 2 bagels and 3 hoagies.
Yeah.
One.
Just right. Yeah. So that guy. He doesn't sound like that at all.
And then they leave words out, like they would always say, "Go down the shore." You're missing there's a word that you're missing. Like you're missing an action there. Like you have to go down to the shore.
They do that in England. Like they'll be like they go to hospital.
Yeah.
They go to hospital. They go to university.
Yeah, they're idiots too.
Yeah. This is how it sounds when it's proper. You have a Jimmy Carr. The comic. Yeah. If you have a comic Jimmy Carr, and he's like he talks. He has an English accent. He's a British comic. And people always say he sounds funny. He goes, "This is how it sounds when it's spoken. When it's he said properly. That's just how it sounds properly." Jungle Cats. What a great song. This was a song where you're like, I forgot how good this album was, right? Because of Jungle, when you listen to Jungle Cats.
Yeah, he has a unique ability to, like, it's hard to explain. So, like the type of track that it is, like he can weave in and out, like, just like the way that he speaks, like, kind of goes with the song or like the genre or whatever it is, the topic that he's talking about. Like he can change his voice to work with.
Yeah, well, he plays like 3 different characters in this song. Like he raps about like 3 different cats.
Yeah.
And in 2000, you got Eminem rapping about wanting his mother dead and his wife's
dead in the back of the trunk.
Baby's mother dead. Yeah, and you got this guy who's like there's these 3 cats that live on a small island off the coast of Madagascar, and like this is a song about them. But they're like big cats, like like jungle cats, they're not like house cats. That would be ridiculous. So this is a great one to sing along.
Cat and mouse tricks. Can they skin a cat? I doubt this. If you try competing, you'll get eaten like meow mix. Perfect. Back to the control panel. Same cat time, same cat channel. Who likes the way the jungle cats get down? Go meow, 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 meow. Who loves hip hop? Take the jungle cat vow. Go meow, 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 meow. Earth breaks, shakes, trembles. All jungle cats rise up and assemble. You don't have to cock your Glocks back to be radical like the SWAT cats. So stop that. I'll turn your matchbox into a box match.
Even like he sings differently, and then he sounds like more aggressive towards the end there, like that.
Well,
last verse.
And he works in that like the perfect, like he works that in and like the emperor. He does that a couple times.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unique. It kind of makes him who he is.
Yeah. More cinematic.
Yeah.
Like his songs are cinematic more than that's just that song's.
It's so funny because I just pictured Dr. Dre and Eminem in a room they're like, oh, we got Emperor sent in his demo, and they're like, the chorus is meow meow, and they're like looking at each other. They're like, they're like,
did he just meow?
Like we're not gonna do this, right?
The funny thing is, like Eminem would meow too, but it would be a complete different context. Like he'd be murdering a cat, and the cat would be meowing. Like Eminem did wild shit like that too on his like he would make sound effects or like rap as somebody else, but it was just so dark that it wasn't corny. Like this guy's literally like meowing like legit, like oh it's a cat, meow meow.
Yeah. Look, he's purring.
Yeah. It's such a fun song to sing along to. Like the chorus is great. It's like. That's a fun song. What do I want to do?
I'm an extraterrestrial MC, and I know some are doubting me. My Han Solo fighting style, I call Millennium Falconry. I change shapes and mind states through the use of mental alchemy. I climb the Tower of Babel and threw rappers off the balcony. My culture showers me, the microphone overpowers me. Separates me from rappers who use actions that are cowardly. That's how it be, hip-hop amazes me, worship, praises me. Resembles, favors me, allows me many ways to freak. 7 styles for 7 days a week. Allows me to transform like Soundwave and give up more tapes than Laserbeak.
I don't know what that line is. It gives me more tapes than Laserbeak. I know Laserbeak is like, isn't Laserbeak is like the cartoon?
Is it
like,
laser? I always thought it was Laser Beam. I didn't know what he was getting at there.
I thought you said Laserbeak. Could you find the lyrics on this?
No, I found
I think
nothing.
it was listed.
I tried to get so many different. I looked on so many different places. Found something on, like there was nothing on Wikipedia, but there was something on like all. What was it under?
Oh, wait, I think I found lyrics here.
All Music. Something was on All Music.
I'll find that.
Yeah, they didn't have lyrics though. They just had
but
songs.
obviously like the track listing is not right, so like not all the songs are.
Yeah.
Laserbeak allows me to transform like sound waves and give me more tapes than Laserbeak. Okay, I think Laserbeak is a transformer, maybe.
Okay, that would make sense. It would go along with this whole thing here.
I always thought Laserbeak was the cartoon character in the Muppets. Wasn't that like? Oh, that was. Maybe I'm way off. Because there's also a producer for Doomtree, the rap group Doomtree, called Laserbeak.
Okay.
But he was like way after this. So like when I heard them, like when I heard more tapes on Laserbeak, I'm like,
no, I mean it's possible. Was he
Laserbeak
around?
like,
yeah, was he around like in '98?
No, not really. No, not really. Like I don't think they really formed. Definitely not enough to be like Last Emperor to be referencing him. Yeah, so like it's funny like this production like when I think about so Eminem had the Slim Shady EP, LP. Which one's bigger? Which one's the smaller one?
The Slim Shady LP was his first.
The long play extend EP, right?
Which EP is the short one.
I think all those songs. Yeah, and all those songs ended up on the album later, but they changed some of the beats, they cleaned some of them up, and like this didn't get that treatment. This sounds like the demo treatment.
Yeah.
Like you hear like the production of this, like you can hear the beat sounds like
Rappers off the balcony. My culture showers me. The microphone.
that could be cleaned up a lot in like in mixing.
Yeah, you could tell it was a really
like,
poor mic, and I mean I actually love that. Every time I hear that beat, my hair stands on end. I don't know what it is about that beat. I just absolutely
it's the chant.
Love it. Yeah, it's
the
every
chant
time.
and just heavy, just just the kick and snare over that chant.
Yeah, there's a few beats on here.
You
that
don't
do
need
that
much.
to me.
Like that's
no.
Yeah,
but I always wanted to know who the producer actually was of these tracks. Like I don't know if like Dr. Dre did any of this.
Yeah,
I have no clue. Like
no, I don't think he did.
No, like it seems like this was like done before he even got signed to that, or like this was like in the process of. So, I mean, whoever this producer was, I can't believe that he hasn't had a career. Or maybe he has, and we have no clue who it is that actually did it. I mean, who other Philly guys would there be? And besides the Roots in the late '90s, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it would be Mr. Eon.
Yeah, maybe yeah, Mighty My. I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, Mighty My. Right. Yeah, can you imagine? So it was funny. I'll play maybe I'll play a clip. leading into something else. So, yeah, no credit to producers, obviously, but like I feel like now there's so many producers, like SoundCloud producers, like people selling beats online.
Yeah.
It's this stuff is very like you could find people on SoundCloud making beats like this, but at the time, like these were good, legit beats that were really
without a doubt.
Yeah. All right, so I want to play this video version of this. So the next song I have is Black Magic. So this was the first time I saw Last Emperor. This is where I discovered Last Emperor. Was from a VHS tape called Open Transport, which was just this weird VHS tape of underground rap, and they just went to different cities, and they kind of just like filmed a little bit of each scene. So we were in Philly, and there was this place called Footworks. I wrote it down here. Yeah, Footwork Philadelphia, and it was partly owned by Bobbito, Stretch and Bobbito,
Okay.
I think, and then another guy. I looked that up too, but I can't find it. I took a picture of the guy. I took a picture of the screen when I was looking at it. Not that it matters. Rich Medina, and the name Medina actually. Now that I say that, I think that was came up a lot. So they had it was a record store in Philly called Footworks, and they would do live performances. Like it was their version of the Cop Shop, I guess, whatever. But so they were this Open Transport documentary crew went to Philly, and they recorded this show at night, one night, and it was, and then Last Emperor was on. And first time I saw this, I was like, this guy is the coolest. I love everything he's doing. I was like, whoever's at this show is the coolest person. Yeah. Like, I want a life where I'm at shows that shit like this is happening, and it's just like it seemed like the coolest thing ever. And let me see if I can play it.
Hey, Mr. Emperor, what type of styles you deal with? I deal with black magic, and I can feel it. Roll up the black magic, take 2 pulls and pass it, hold it in, wait to exhale like Angela Bassett. Sounds fantastic when I'm blasted. I got rhymes embedded in my deoxyribonucleic acid. I sound like Superman, yeah, you're dead right, but I'm stronger than Superman, cause I can even see through lead pipes. I see through whack MCs with whack flows and whack shows. I attack foes with the style that rocks like the Black Crows. While you were yapping about what kind of gun you're packing, my flow steals the show like the Muppets took Manhattan. The mental gun bearer, #1 terror. Black Thundercat like Lion-O, my mic's the sword of Thundera. Yeah, that's it, I've had all that I can take. If 85% of all MCs are really fake, and they disrespect our culture, fuck the money that they make. The Emperor will hunt you down and you'll get burned at the stake. So yo, flow like fluid, watch me get into it. I recite witch tales and flip spells like Dr. Druid. Civilizations and nations I conquer. All beware, the age of black magic is upon you.
Yeah, I just love that so much. That whole part. I mean, I can't even I got rhymes embedded in my
who's deoxyribonucleic acid? Like who?
Yeah,
everyone else would just say DNA. I mean, he is actually how do you get that into a rhyme?
I can't even say it. Like I know it. I can't even repeat it. Yeah. I know the rhyme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so great. I don't love all the Star Wars and comic book references because I don't know a lot of them. Like a lot of them, I'm picking up on them now. Like years later, I gain knowledge of these references. I'm like, oh, my Last Emperor rapped about that.
Yeah.
No, okay, that makes sense. Now, I'm learning about his raps years later from the nerd culture I know nothing about.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he wrote a lot of this stuff when he was super young, because he seemed like the type of kid that, I mean, I know he talks about it a lot, but he wanted to get away from whatever his life was as fast as he possibly could, and you just picture him sitting in his room, he had no friends or very little friends, and his friends were the comic books or the movies or whatever he was watching, and that's kind of what he was rapping about. And he just kind of tied his life to that, and I mean, we'll get to that song later, but he wrote a whole song about it.
Yeah. And then he also it was another part of this.
I climbed the Tower of Babel and threw rappers off the balcony. My culture showers me, the microphone overpowers me, separates me from rappers who use actions that are cowardly. That's how it be. Hip hop amazes me, worships, praises me.
But This is gonna make the editing thing impossible. But I wanted to play also. So I thought it was interesting from that VHS. It was interesting that night that they picked to record. Yeah, I'll show you. Was it's Philly, so this is gonna happen.
In its chest, I peel back his face from chin to neck. Yes. Your Cage took your car, running over A&Rs, then start sniping stars like OZWALV. It's actually season for shooting MCs, so I made up my mind. What to do? Started the anti-government weatherman crew. Let the side wave, pluck out your third optical cords.
Oh my God,
he's pops up in the back there.
He's the best.
Yeah. Just bug eyes.
It's like, who let this dude's little brother on stage?
I don't like. Yeah, but of course they show all Cage. They don't show Mr. Eon rapping at all. But what can you do? So I thought that was funny. That it's a super Philly night in this place. But it was interesting that Cage shows up because you talk about Eminem and Cage. Those are the two careers that Eminem ruined because like Cage always accused Eminem of stealing his whole style and taking that whole like hardcore thing, and then obviously Last Emperor we explained. So it's like this one show, and Eminem just ruined both of their careers. Yeah,
it's funny how like he says he stole his style. It's almost like they were happening simultaneously, and it just so happened that Eminem was better at it. It's just kind of, Cage was very good.
Yeah, and just more marketable. Yeah, it's like it wasn't completely original. Like Necro was doing,
Necro.
To say like anybody, like Necro was doing way more, like
way more.
It's dark, like raw,
terrible.
Yeah, neither one of those guys touched anything that Necro was doing. Like, and it was like Ill Bill, and there's like a whole bunch of like white kids talking about drugs. Like that was white kids realized like, oh, like we want to rap, but we can't rap about like the streets because we're not on the streets, and like it would look like we're poses, but we all do drugs, and like we can we can disrespect women. we can rap about all that stuff. So they all realized at the same time that that's what they could start rapping about, and that's where it all came from. Nobody was stealing anybody's style. So okay, we got oh boy, even just that guitar, right?
I forgot all about this song.
Yeah, I know. Every one of these songs I put, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about this song.
I'm from the city that left the Liberty Bell crack. The Constitution's release party was held at. Matter of fact, tell your crew to get the hell back, or I'ma eat these cats like that alien from Melmac. To all my backpackers, more rats and slackers, cyber trackers, players, poets and actors. You wanna know what it's like to be down with my team? Like the Centurions, power extreme. Echo leader 1 to echo leader 2. We have an intruder and he's right in front of you. Echo leader 2 to echo leader 1. I've got him in my sights, the meltdown has begun.
Yeah. It's rock and roll guitar over, some hip hop beats and just chants and, that call to action type of.
Yeah, he reminds me of J. Rue a lot. They were very similar with kind of like how their ideas, because they were both anti whatever was happening in hip hop. And they were both really kind of like more like the Afrocentric, really focused on like the actual skills of like what hip hop was and like the whole roots aspect of it. And
they love the culture.
Yeah, they love the whole culture of it. Yeah, and they looked similar.
Yeah,
like they were. I just felt like they were always be a good tandem.
Yeah. I agree. I think there was something else I wanted to say. I don't know. Oh, so he references Alf. By the way, I'm gonna eat them. Eat those like the cats, like the alien from Melmac. Yeah, like he's referencing Alf. Like that's great. And then in that one, like the video that we showed, he does rap about the Muppets. He goes, "I saw the show like the Muppets took Manhattan." So like maybe when he says Laserbeak, like it's not crazy that he was talking about a Muppet. He referenced the Muppets in a song, a song later.
He does.
It's very possible.
And the first part of what you played, the Constitution's record release party.
I'm from the party.
That's just such a great line.
Yeah, I'm from the town where they left the city Liberty Bell cracked. The Constitution's amendment was signed at. Yeah. Yeah, talk about this is like animal stuff. You know, he's still doing this animal stuff. Like his new stuff, he's still rapping about animals and stuff now. Yeah.
The Wild MC. Who's that legendary man that captures rappers by the tools? Part man and part animal like the kind you find in zoos. Imagine being hunted and confronted by rival crews. The emperor takes the form of any animal I choose. You don't have the skill for this. Man destroys, I'm rebuilding this. Watch me run through the industry like the wilderness. It's the return of the mic king. If I catch a whack rapper hiking, not to my liking, I stalk my prey before striking.
Yeah, that's just more Last Emperor. You know, not a lot to say. You can hear what you want. I feel like I want to let the listeners know, like, if I can find Last Emperor's Venmo account and I can post it on here, and if you can prove to me that you've sent him $20, I'll send you.
We'll send you a copy of this.
To this album. Yeah.
You could be his distributor. I said you could be his distributor.
Yeah, it's the start of my record label right now. This is a song about Charlie Brown, which I'm assuming is a friend of his growing up. But there was a Charlie Brown in the rap.
Yeah, I didn't KRS One.
I think it's different Charlie Browns though.
I always thought I heard a story about this dude named Charlie Brown that people always used to talk about. I swear KRS One talked about him or somebody.
Yeah. I think he was like Leaders of the New School. Like he was in that like kind of like Busta Rhymes thing. But I looked into it and he's still alive. And then Last Emperor's rapping about
Long Island.
This guy's That dude's he's from Long Island.
Yeah.
But he's rapping like this guy he's rapping about is dead.
Dead, yeah.
I think, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's kind of like what he said.
He seemed like he was a Philly
downfall.
guy, and I couldn't find anything on it. I swear I know the story, but I can't find anything on it.
Oh, so you're saying you think you've heard stories about this guy Charlie Brown in Philly, like this specific
about
Charlie
what
Brown guy.
about what Last Emp is talking about. I swear I've heard this story before,
Right.
or know who. Like I've heard of him from somebody, from
But
something.
but then I'm listening to it. I'm like, but it's Last Emp. He references Alf and the Muppets. Like, is he talking about Charlie Brown the cartoon? Like, you know, like that's not out of the question.
I didn't hear any
guy.
Snoopy or Lucy references, so
no. Well, he would have made it a little bit more dark now. Like it's like so I'm listening to him like, all right, dances a lot. I'm like Charlie Brown did used to like dance like a lot. Like So I'm like, who knows this guy? But I always thought this was a sweet song.
This is the tale of a neighborhood legend who got his first glimpse at the age of 11. The inner city streets with its trouble and flaws. To him, a new world full of wonder and awe. Hanging out with his boys, trying to make some noise. Still he moves through the neighborhood with grace and poise. How could such a young man learn how to run scams? Peeking and sneaking into all the neighborhood jams. He observed the teenage romances and learned how to do all the new dances. Ignoring the hour as his curfew advances.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie Brown knew how to do all the dances.
yeah, I mean, he knew everything.
So,
Some bitch could cut a rug.
Yeah. And then I like it. He's like, if you ain't close with your homies, you ain't kicking it right. Like that's it's such a nice sentiment for a rapper to say. Like, like back, and especially like in the early 2000s, like people weren't rapping about it. You know, hey, you should be close with your buddies. Like it's nice. Yeah. This song is called Faux Real, as far as I can tell. At least that's what that was the name on LimeWire when I downloaded it. But also, remember those days of downloading LimeWire, you'd come up with like a video instead of like a song, and like, what? It was just Wild West.
It really was. And it was glorious.
Days, but just madness, just absolute madness. I remember once I thought that, I got into like classic rock around that time, so I started downloading a bunch of like classic rock songs. But they were like the name of the song was right, but the name of the artist was wrong. So I was out there like talking about like classic rock with people. I was like, yeah, I love Neil Young does that song, like L.A. Woman. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, that's the Doors. I'm like, I don't know. Like, my version says Neil Young.
Yeah, I know. Like when Led Zeppelin did Hotel California, it's just awesome, awesome tracks.
Right.
Awesome covers.
And it was like all so new to me. It all sounded kind of the same to me, so I couldn't identify the Doors, and like Rolling Stones sounded the same to me then. Now I can tell the difference, but then I was like, it all sounded new to me.
You could name all the members of OGC, but you couldn't tell that Led Zeppelin wrote Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They used to walk right by. That's for real. This year they can't deny. That's for real. Finally, here's your chance to show skill. Say that's for real. Made the proper sacrifice. That's for real. They all know who's the nice. That's for real. Finally, here's your chance to show skill. Say that's for real. I tear down stages without regrets. Show me one, and if I haven't housed it yet, I'll come and blast it. But I'm not talking about the tech. I'll put words together in any alphabet. Now, who dares to challenge me next? Please speak up now, out of respect. Before you decide to battle me next, think twice and take a brief reality check. But yet, I'm like the coolest ruler you've ever met, with one hand in my pocket like Alanis Morissette. Pulling.
I just have to get to that Alanis Morissette line. Like I was,
Yeah.
I didn't know where to stop that.
Every
But
single time
I
I
love-
hear that line, I just smile.
That's so-
I was raking leaves. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I like that.
It's the rhythm, the rhythm of it, the syllables of it, match perfect. The rhyme scheme of it is perfect. And, I'll be honest with you. I love any time a rapper references a white person.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
another one of those beats though that needed a not like a redo, like it needed a little beef behind it.
Yeah. Take
It's like everything's just
right.
so compressed and so flat. There's like, it's like you could tell that it was made like in just some dude's like bathroom.
Yeah, it was made on a machine and never converted to anything to switch the mixing and the leveling. Yeah. This is another one too. This is the same. This is I think if I remember correctly, an intense version of that could be using an updated version of the beat.
Once
Yeah.
again, it's the last emperor.
This whole
These
mix
lyrics
is
will leave you gasped.
shot.
This might be my favorite
I encounter
song.
famous spirits from the past. I crack jokes with black
Yeah.
folks like Robin Harris and Red Fox. Lounging with Bob Marley, giving me tips on my dreadlocks. To put it loosely, an angel would introduce me to all these famous people. I learned kung fu from Bruce Lee. The best rhymes on the best labels. Doing shows with Scott LaRock and Prince Messiah on the tables. Discussing politics with Mountie Tongue and Malcolm. By chance, Queen Latifah's brother Lance would do production on my album. Heavenly tracks with heavily rhyming. Jimi Hendrix on guitar, vocals by Phyllis Hyman.
Yeah, it's great. The whole thing is like you talk about
Yeah.
like what he would do in heaven, who he would like to work with.
Like this whole part, that whole
Yeah.
verse where like he you could tell he like had to map out all the names. So he had to map out all the names and then figure out how to like Queen Latifah's brother.
Who did
Yeah,
what?
like, that's
What
just-
rhymes with what?
Yeah, like that's just I mean, that's just incredible how he's able to.
You
piece
have
it
to,
all
right? You
together.
can't just like start rapping, right? You have to.
Unless he knows it
lay
so
out.
well, like he knows it, like it's just such a big part of his life where he can, like he knows it so well. He's like, okay, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
cracking jokes with Red Fox and whoever else the other guy was, and then like he wants Queen Latifah's brother to produce his album and listening to Hendrix on the guitar and lyrics by Phyllis Hyman. I mean, it's
Yeah. It's funny. What was the guy's name? He cracking folk. It started with that, I think, right?
Who's that?
Because
cracking jokes with Red Fox and somebody.
yeah.
Once again, it's the last emperor. These lyrics won't leave you gassed. In heaven, I encounter famous spirits from the past. I crack jokes with black folks like Robin Harris and Red.
Robin Harris. Yeah. So have you ever seen Robin Harris? Yeah. Yeah.
I know the
he
name.
Was like,
I know
he
the
was
name.
huge,
but
but
that's,
like in the
that's it. Yeah.
yeah, he died kind of young. I think he was in a Kid and Play, the Kid and Play movie. He played their father, I
Okay.
think. But he was like, he was very funny, like for the time. Like now, you watch him now, and it's like outdated. But I know Ron Bennington has talked about him how he was just like he might be the funniest person who's ever lived. Like he's but he used to talk to the crowd a lot, and he would like just make fun of guys like, oh, you look so dark. Like he would just point at the crowd, just like you so dark. Your mother, whatever. The fucking like what he would say.
Like
But,
John Witherspoon funny.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but just yeah. Yeah, I think no matter how much you know that, all those references though, you still want to make sure you're going to get the most out of the
Yeah.
rhymes. So you don't want to like just start rapping and realizing like you get, I could have taken this reference and made that. So you probably do have to lay it out. But
Yeah, like this person does this or this person did this, and like how do I get from A to
Yeah.
B and then from B to Z or like, it's
Yeah.
just it just does such a great job. of
yeah.
it.
And same thing with the next song, Secret Wars. Like, you can't
this song's incredible.
You can't just start writing songs. I think this was the first song that I downloaded after hearing him, which is funny because it's so different than Black Magic was so in a club. It was dark. It was like cool. And this is just like hip hop. This is just rap music. Like, I'm going to rap my face off and like about something that's completely original. So he takes, I don't know if I'm going to put it in context because I don't have I'm not going to do the beginning of the song, but he takes his favorite comic book characters and his favorite rappers and he puts them head to head. And first of all, I love that the rappers always win.
Yeah.
I don't, like,
They're 17 and 0.
None of these battles with the comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I love. But yeah, it's
and he
made
has
the Secret Wars 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love the list. So his list is really good too. Like his list of rappers.
The rappers he picked?
Is very good.
Yeah.
Very well done.
I was listening to it and I was trying to think, we've done albums from most of the people on this podcast.
Yeah.
We've talked about albums from most of the people.
Yeah.
Like all but 3. And we've mentioned all but 1, I think, rap. Like we've talked, because he talks about Common. We haven't done a Common album.
No.
But we've talked about Common. And then there was another rapper that we've talked about quite a bit.
Das
Busta Rhymes,
Effects.
we've mentioned on the Tribe.
Rawkus, Das Effects.
Das Effects. That's right. The two acts we've never mentioned were Rawkus and Rawkus and Das Effects.
So we talked about Das Effects a couple times because I talked about them.
That's right. We did.
Yeah,
that's right. You did talk about when you referenced them, like I think in the Camp Low and maybe the Black Sheep episode.
Yes,
that's right. You did mention them. Yeah. And but Rawkus we've never mentioned, but we should.
Yeah.
I never got huge into him, but he's worth talking about. He's just
we haven't done a Common album yet either. That's surprised. Like I don't know how we've missed him because we were big Common fans at the time.
Maybe
too.
next.
There you go.
Yeah. So I just completely lost as to which part of this. This might have been the most difficult song I've ever had to take clips from because I loved every one of these battles. I want to represent one of these battles, but I think one section stuck out more than the other. So.
The West, with all these heroes down, Stanley refuses to surrender. Got stormed from the X-Men like I can't match the gender. Stan shouts, and you Stan, you best to chill, no match for Storm. I guess he's never heard of Lauryn Hill, who was fresh home from tour, a bit too tired to spar, so she hit her in the head with Wyclef's guitar. All silence and ceased, out of nowhere comes the beast, versus J. Rue the Damager, the prophet from the east. Release rhymes that will pound you into the ground, there'll be no round 2. Another victory by the dirty, rotten scoundrel. The underground sewer system deep below the ring is where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and DOS do their thing.
All right, so that was the first point. I actually picked 2 spots I wanted to pull out.
So one thing
I love.
I was gonna say one thing he does is the voices that he does really well. He does them longer. So the ones that he knows that he's got down, he does them a little bit longer, and the ones that he doesn't do well, like Genius, he's really
quick.
Although his Red Man is really good, but it's short. But his Common is his Common is really long.
Yeah, and that might be his best voice, but more because he's just kind of talking in that voice. But he does rock pretty good. He doesn't do that a ton.
No,
he
could.
I think he does all the albums. He definitely know who he's talking. It's not a bad one where you're like that didn't sound anything like that. Yeah. But yeah, I love. I like I wouldn't put Lauryn Hill in a hip hop battle, but. I love when I just love that he says, just off the tour, a little too tired, so she hit him in the head with Wyclef's guitar. I like that line. And then the fact that he references J. Rue the Damager, like you said, you kind of put them, they're close to each other in your head. And I just, he was big, but anytime I ever hear J. Rue the Damager's name out of context, I'm always like so happy. He was referenced in a Run the Jewels song. They mentioned J. Rue the Damager, and was like, I'm always just so happy to hear anybody reference J. Like, he deserved more credit.
At the time, Come Clean was such a massive track. And then after that, his first 2 albums were as good as you're going to get, and then he ruined it.
And it just he did. But even during then, he doesn't get credit for those 2 albums enough.
Not as much as he
in
should.
my mind, as much as you should. So, yeah. And then this part.
Charging after you, smashing you, metaphorically bashing through the entire Joe team is OGC and roughly irrational. Then all of a sudden I hear this real loud crack. With damage done to his team, refusing to leave the scene. Next up, Weapon X from Canada, Wolverine. You know the routine, his claws can rip rappers for days.
But here comes a method man, aka Johnny Blaze.
Wolverine, you can't hang. Winter Cow does his thing. Paralyze you with the venom from the Method Man's.
Yeah, I just love it. I get chills like when he does rock, when he does
so good.
Method Man. But then he talks about like, so the last one is Nas, right?
yeah.
Like that's like the final thing. Nasir Jones versus Peter Parker. Does that? Does the Jizza? I love this at the end of the Jizza verse. He's like, I bought words from a genius, but he's still my rhyming hero. Like he says, like I bought his album that stinks, but like he's still great.
Yeah, I bought words from the genius, but he's still my rhyming. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
Just great.
And
This
he leaves
whole,
it off
like
with
this whole song
KRS.
gives me chills. I gotta, yeah, right. It's just so much fun. It's just like any hip hop fan from that era. This is just like I would put like this is a. I want everybody to hear that song. Like I really do. Yeah. So this is. I think you were referencing this song before, maybe. This song is actually called. I called it "Diss Myself."
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the YouTube version, it's called "The Dozen." So I guess like when you're making fun of people, you call it the dozens, like they're doing the dozens on me. So I don't know. I've never heard it called the dozens before, but
It's my story, but don't invade my territory. Besides being an MC, I've got nothing going for me. Although my life might seem to have zero interference, small children still run from my hideous appearance. My clothes are torn and trashy, cops try to blast me. Elderly women still clutch their handbags when they pass me, but I find that entertaining. I'm saying, I'm not complaining, but casually conversing, rhyming without cursing. I sound fast on wax, but slow and retarded in person. Now
it was a different time.
Yeah.
Man. You could say things like that. And then I had another point from this song I wanted to pick out. I'm not sure.
Picture that. Where's the distance at? Now say one. I've got a psychiatrist named Dr.
That's
Andre
fine.
Young, who's helping me live out my dreams and rebuild my self-esteem. When we step on the scene, watch 1,000 women scream. Who's
That hurts when you hear him say that. You know, I got a psychiatrist, his name is Dr. Andre Young, who's helped me live on my dreams. Like, oh,
Yeah,
boy.
this one, you can tap this one under things that didn't age well.
Yeah, yeah. That sucks. Do you think he hates him? Like, if he's like Dr. Dre, I'm like, he's like, fucking guy ruined my life, or I don't know, just the music business, I guess.
So,
I don't know. Yep. Start this at 1:55. Long live the bums.
You see, you can't miss what you've never had. The life of a bum really isn't half bad. We're never alone, cause bums travel in packs. We combine fine lyrics with underground tracks. We rock the best shows, placing MCs on stress mode. You can tell a fellow bum from his raggedy dress code. We rock raggedy kicks and wear raggedy pants. We rock raggedy mics and sing raggedy chants like the bums have a right to lay down the law. The bum train is leaving from track number 4. The bummy engineer is the last emperor. Hard rock like the thing from the Fantastic Four.
God, I love superheroes.
yeah, loves him.
Because I'm obsessed with
He's
superheroes.
probably made more money off of his comic book collection than he has off of
Yeah,
rhymes,
maybe. Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
You know what's funny is that I just went to go see. So I went to see that Paul Thomas Anderson movie, Licorice Pizza. It was great, but I went to go see it at the Alamo Draft House, which is like this art house, movie theater with a real pretentious thing. So I was surprised that they played like the Batman trailer. Like I thought they would just play like trailers for like other like art type movies, but they don't, which I liked. Made me feel like I wasn't, I don't know, in Snobville.
Well, isn't
But,
that new Batman supposed to be like the darkest? Isn't it supposed to be like incredible?
Yeah, well,
like Jared Leto's playing.
Yeah, so I'm
Joker or
watching it.
something. Jared
Who
Leto.
is?
Jared Leto. Leto.
Jared, no,
Okay.
No, I don't think
Maybe
so.
I got
Didn't
that
he?
wrong.
Isn't he? Didn't he play the Joker like in that terrible one that nobody
Maybe
liked?
that's what it was.
And I think this is a Riddler
Okay.
movie. I don't know if it might not be the Joker. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Like, but I'm not really. I'm just not into superhero movies. I never have been. But Batman is the one. I loved Michael Keaton's Batman when I was younger, and I liked the other ones, and then like even the Joker movie, I enjoyed. But and then I saw this, I'm like, that looks good. Like this is like it's very dark. And I'm like, I like the darkness of the Batman movies. And also, I think what I like about it is that it's like the real world. Like he's a regular guy who just has enough money to buy the things that are you could get a car look like that, and you could get like the grappling hooks, and like you could like it's obviously not
conceivably
realistic,
doable is the difference. It's
exactly. It's the same like if you ever watch like Black Mirror. Like Black Mirror is like sci-fi, but it's all like okay, I could see in 20 years this technology actually existing, and the same thing with Batman, which I think is why I let myself fall into that world. Anyway, that is just to say, like, that's my extent of the comic book world. I just I never knew anybody like that read actual comic books. When I hear people like, oh, I collect comic books, I'm like, really? Like the actual comic book? Like you actually you buy those books and you read them? Like it's just so bizarre
you
to
spent
me.
money on that?
You spent money and then you sat there and read like the little bubbles, like with the little bubbles and the things and what they say, and like it's all just goofy drawings.
Like TV exists,
spend
right?
your time?
Like
TV. Yeah, it wasn't even that. Like I mean, we played sports and played video games, but like if it was nice out, we were outside. If it was not, we were inside playing video games. Like the idea of like, so I mean, but that being said, like I'm not a well-read person now, so maybe if I started with comic books, I'd be more well-read now as an adult. But because I think that's how some kids learn how to read. I just that was a tangent.
So I was gonna I missed it, and Diss Myself, he talks about Yeti and Bigfoot twice. I wonder if that's kind of like where the title came from, or like where it would have come from. But yeah, he talks about himself being a Yeti, or what does he say? Like at this place I'll be a Yeti, and the other one I'll be a Bigfoot, or something like that.
Yeah. And then they know him as a Yeti. You know him as a Bigfoot. Yeah. Which is funny because as far as I know, this was supposed to be the name of the album.
Yeah, because it's documented.
But it works. Yeah, but it just works so well with the lore of the album that it's like this legend of Bigfoot, and Bigfoot never exists. Like nobody can ever like pinpoint. It's this mystery, and they have this album that never came out. It was this underground phenomenon. Have you ever did you find like you know where to find like the legend of Bigfoot? So it like works so well with an album that never came out. It's called like the Legend of Bigfoot.
Yeah, I wonder if that was done on purpose.
You can't. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know what came first. Maybe they decide they're not going to release it. And like we're going to call it Legend of Bigfoot. Also, not releasing
it
because it's called Legend of Bigfoot. We feel like it'd be more appropriate if we never actually release this album.
We're using the if a tree falls in the woods, does anyone really hear it theory?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have this one kid on Long Island who's going to bootleg it. He's going to send out 60 copies.
And he's going to make enough money to buy 70 horn tapes with it.
Black explorers. No country is safe.
Yeah.
We invade the borders of any foreign nation to tear stages like archaeological excavations. It's child's play. We bring the pacifier with the playpen. Say, friend, I really and truly feel it's my duty to steal land from these bougie MCs that don't move me. Draw maps on my loose leaf. Commander and crew chief. Conquer continents like Americo Vespucci.
I don't even know that last reference, but yeah, he talks a lot about whack rappers and stuff like that. Like he's, he was.
It's that time.
Yeah, definitely. This song was labeled Heavyweight on YouTube. I have it listed as Invincible.
This is my favorite track. This I forgot. I forgot this song existed. This song's just awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Wasn't what was the name of that movie about the guy from Philly who walked onto the Eagles?
That was it. That was the name of it.
It wasn't. Was it called Invincible?
Yeah, it was about. I think the guy's name was Vince, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was Vince. Yeah, but that that wasn't like a term that was thrown around. Like I was just wondering if this was like a Philly reference. Did like people call that was like, did it get the name like when the movie came out? They called it Invincible, or like was that known?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Was that guy?
Yeah,
like,
his name was
did he have a nickname?
Yeah, it was Vince Papale.
Yeah. Probably not related. If I just like I hear Philly and I hear Invincible, and like I just went like it just seems like there's an overlap there, but probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I wanted to start it at 27. I thought I did.
If I could be invincible, I greet competition with rage. Do work and go berserk when I'm ripping the stage. Igniting and writing rhymes since a ridiculous age. Let's face off like Travolta versus Nicolas Cage. Y'all finally got me to talking tough, ready to bust these suckers that constantly bother us. Oh, yes, just when you thought all was lost and hopeless, one man fights back on the behalf of the oppressed, and I'm so fresh. Many say like Tim McVeigh, I blow sets. Don't believe me now, you go test and get your flow stretched. Taking all threats and bets, double or nothing, I can match that. And blast raps, turn your Land Cruiser into a hatchback.
Yeah, great beat. You know, rhymes his ass off on it.
And that one line, you picked the exact part I would have picked it, where he goes, oh shucks, look, now you got me talk tough. Like, oh shucks, that's as tough as he gets.
Yeah, that's good. I never really put that together.
Yeah.
Like he said, "Oh shucks," and like that
Look,
got me to talk.
now you got me
to
talking
talk
tough. Yeah.
Yeah, that is funny. That's comical. This one is about a party crasher called Party Crasher.
So we can all charge the door. The first person to get my mic back will collect the reward. It's a surprise.
This one
This is the skipper.
All I know is that somebody
In the back?
yeah. Getting smashed. We can't pay to get in because bums don't carry cash. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got a party to crash. Freedom fighters, let your shotguns blast. Don't sit around and watch the clock run fast. Friday night and you got no cash, but it's all right, we got a party to crash.
Yeah, that's
He
fun.
underutilized that
I like
guitar.
that one.
Like when the guitar comes in on the chorus, I'm like, this needs to be on the verse, not the chorus.
Should have been on more of the
Yeah.
beat. Yeah. That's so disappointing.
Oh
when that
my
happens.
god, it
It's
gets
like,
me so.
It was
it
so
gets
close.
me
You were
so
right there.
mad. Like Aesop's newest album with Jazz Hands right at the end. Right at the end, he's like, "Oh, here you go. Here's a little
Drum
taste,"
come-
and then song over. You're like, "Fuck you." Yeah.
Drums come in. Yeah, exactly. That's silly, but really quick. This was
Guns and let the L start firing. Words I speak.
This was on
send the weekend
YouTube.
to retirement. Evil
no. It's about to come up with an ad. So there was the 3 songs that weren't on the album. I'll play them quick, even though.
straight death defying men. Open the door before I let the empire in. Tell me where she is. Break the code of silence.
This is called "The World of Susie Wong,"
Yeah, this one I remember.
and I think I didn't like this one. So I didn't put it on. And there was "Monumental," which is this.
Central American Zapatista, rough bandolero. The empire builders must construct societies. That's the difference between my spirit and the man that deceives. The individual to the masses, imperialist and fascist, titanium and plastics, alkalines and acids.
Yeah, I like that one, but I think this was the one that I would have put on if I found it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
called "Keep On."
Brought to their knees by the British, the Dutch, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Over lands and seas, the mighty emperor decrees. 2 centuries before the birth of Christ, the Greeks invaded these.
Yeah, that's like, again, that needs a lot of work, a lot of updating. That beat
Yeah,
is,
see,
yeah.
I have like mixed feelings on that because I just love underground hip hop so much that it's like it's part of it. It's part of the nostalgia to listen to it like that.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying from
Yeah.
I'm not saying from my enjoyment of it. I don't care. Like I enjoy these. I enjoy all these songs as they are. They sound like it sounds like something that wasn't released.
Exactly.
And that adds to it.
It does.
I love
it adds
all
to
of
it. It's like
But-
it's like not too many people
Yeah.
know about this, and I'm just like lucky that I'm one of them.
Yeah, and like how much like the sad clown bad
Yeah,
dub
exactly.
songs are like
That's
the
the best
shitty
ones,
qualities, and there's like Yeah, and they sound great. Like I have no problems with names. But if you're putting that out on Aftermath,
very
like,
different.
They were going to do something with those. Yeah, they were going to do something with those. I'm like, we're not putting it out sounding like this. We can't do it. But yeah, I would listen to that all day, just like that, no problem. No
Yeah, like
complaints at
it's
all
like
from me.
it wasn't good unless the stereo in my car was at like 50, because it was just such a low dub.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like,
And it kind of
did
hurt to
a
listen
little bit.
to.
Yeah, like it was just so trebly, like it just the high pitch.
Yeah. Yeah. One more more line that I wrote down was I think I used this to justify my making money off of his back. Was he has got a line that says, "I rap for pleasure, not for monetary profit." So he says that one of the songs. I think it was in one of the clips that he wrote, and I'm like, oh, okay, so yeah, he doesn't even care if he makes money on this. Like he raps for pleasure.
No, I'm
not
sorry,
monetary
he's excited
profit.
about me doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was it. That felt very cathartic.
It
to
really
talk
did.
about
I
this
absolutely
album
love
for,
this.
for an
Whatever
hour
this
and
album is,
10 minutes.
if it's even an album.
Yeah.
And I really
Yeah,
hope he
that's-
hits
that
you
was
up
great.
too. I really
I'm
hope we
gonna,
can find him.
Yeah, if I find him, I'm going to send him a link to this podcast, and I'm going to send him money, and I'm going to, make this album available to anybody. I'm going to like ask people to actually listen to this. Like I'm always like, I made a podcast. If you want to listen to it, I don't
Yeah.
care. Like it's not very good. It's not for you. But this one, like, even if you don't like rap music, like this is like a documentary to me. Like not to say we did a good, documentary's worth of work on this, but it's like outside of the music, outside of like whatever you are a fan of, this is to me a fascinating story and like a guy that should have been, more than he was. And it's like,
Yeah.
I think that, I would like to listen to this if I, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, he's still out there. His
Just
last
stop
album
lis-
came out in 2018. It was called Jungle Gym Season 1.
Yeah.
Season 2 hasn't come out yet.
Was that the last one?
I think it was. No?
Jungle Gym.
Jungle Gym.
Yeah. Yeah, but I thought he put out an album with that producer after that as well.
I
But,
think Huck Fillmore. I think that's the guy. No?
Yeah, yeah. Huck Fillmore.
If I'm even saying that right.
How could you tell? How would anybody tell? 2019, he put out another one with the same guy.
Okay.
Called Lord of the Fly. So same type of themes and there, if you go on YouTube, there's videos of like he made a lot of videos for some of these songs. Like
Yeah.
there's a song called 16 where he did a song. He made a video for it. Very, this is a new Last Emperor, so he could still rap.
Yeah,
Like
no,
this,
he
you know what I
sure
mean?
can.
Like, yeah.
Supreme commentator, unique, I'm complete, I defeat lots of haters, chief operator, the sultan of swing, higher than a Maharaja.
Like if this would have came out when all the Legend of Bigfoot, this
Yeah.
would run. It would have
Would've-
been on the album. Would have sounded this, it would have been like right in the middle of it. Like,
Yeah, his voice changed a lot.
yeah, it did. Yeah, I think he got a little bit heavier, so I don't know if that's what changed his voice. but,
Maybe.
like, he
It
just aged.
I want to
Yeah.
know what he did between 2003 and 2018. Why is there a 15-year gap?
Right?
Like, what was he doing?
Was he just working like at a
Yeah,
place?
like maybe he worked for SEPTA or something like that for a little bit. I don't know. Like, I have no clue. He was driving trolleys around in Philly.
And like you're out, like you have like coworkers, and you're like, yeah, I was signed to Dr. Dre's record label for a while, and I was known as one of the best rappers in the underground.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? How do you tell people like, yeah, no, I'm a great rapper.
Okay, rap for me then.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard one lyric from
And
him.
then you're doing the like, yeah. All right. Well, I think we hinted at possibly doing a common next. I like that idea. And that's it.
That's it.
All right.